So the iPhone 13 will be presented this fall. Here's what we know. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants some.
Hey, what's up guys? It's great to see you all again. And if you're new here, I'm Patrick and this is why I ramble about tech and other stuff. It's been a while since we did a juicy leaks and rumors video on this channel. You guys were with me on the ride ahead of the iPad Pro launch earlier this year, and we had our fun with those rumors. A lot of them materialized, some didn't, sadly, but such is life. Anyway, the new iPhone 13 release is expected to happen in September, and of course we're getting curious about what said iPhone might look like. But exactly how juicy, or as the Italians call it, juicy, will those upgrades be? And how many credible rumors do we have? Well, there are two things to consider this year. One, last year was a pretty major upgrade, especially in terms of design, so it is very plausible that this year will be more of an incremental upgrade, or an S year as we call it in Apple terms. Two, Apple has been cracking down hard on leakers in an attempt to stop the rumor mill. Even John Prosser isn't safe. Personally, I don't understand why Apple is fighting this so hard. It is exactly these rumors that create all the hype ahead of a product launch. If you ask me, Apple should be happy about all this free PR buzz. And frankly, I'd be surprised if Apple didn't let a few leaks slip the net on purpose. It happens all the time in every industry, even in politics. Documents get leaked on purpose to get early feedback or to create hype. Nothing new there, but whether Apple does it or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we do have some leaks and rumors, so let's talk about those. We'll have a look at the design, the chip, the cameras, storage, batteries, the display, reverse wireless charging, and a couple of other things. Right, let's start with the design. Now, this is definitely one of the more reliable rumors. Why? Because manufacturers often have access to information about the dimensions of a new product, which they receive from the manufacturing partners, so they can design their new cases. Based on that, some case manufacturers create dummy models, and as you may have seen, those dummy models have been floating around the internet. And there's a couple of things we can distill from those. Obviously, these are just dummies, and there's always a possibility that some expectations might not line up with the final product, but usually they're pretty accurate. So what do we see from these dummies? First of all, there's 4 of them, which suggests the same lineup as last year, meaning an iPhone 13 mini, an iPhone 13, the Pro, and the Pro Max model. Now, there is the first surprise for me, because there have been a lot of signals that Apple might not continue the mini. I'm actually happy to see that they will, because in the end, I actually landed on the mini myself. And those of you who have been around the channel for a while, you know that that was an excruciating journey of self-discovery for me. Hopping between the Pro Max and the mini. If you're interested in seeing me being very indecisive, I'll link to those videos at the end of this one. The design also looks roughly the same, and that was 100% to be expected. Last year was a major design overhaul. People love the boxy design, and it's just not very likely that a company will change the design again so shortly. Still, there's a couple of things to see. Mark Gurman, one of the most reliable leakers, reported that Apple might be shrinking down the notch on the new iPhones. The microphone and the speaker grill will be moved to the top bezel, which could be to allow for a smaller selfie camera and a smaller notch. The most notable design change can be seen in the camera bump. The Pro model is getting a much larger camera module to match that of the Pro Max, at least in size. And the 13 and the 13 mini show a new design whereby the lenses are now placed diagonally. The new relocated lenses and the bigger camera bumps are in line with another rumor, and that is that Apple is introducing sensor shift, which is the term they use for in-body image stabilization, to all the iPhone 13 models. And lastly, trusty old Mark Gurman also reported that there will be some upgrades in the iPhone's video capabilities, which personally I find much more interesting than photo, and these include better optical zoom and portrait mode for video. Now, I'll be curious what that might look like, because Samsung's attempt at video portrait mode has been appalling. The bokeh effect, which is the blurry background everybody's after when shooting photos or videos, is software based in these phones, and even the photos still don't look as good as actual cameras that create this effect by using fast lenses and large sensors. If photos don't look perfect, I can't imagine this looking any better in videos, but we'll see. There have been some rumors of a portless design. We know that that's the direction Apple is looking to take in the near future, but the dummy models still show ports, probably not USB, sadly. And that makes sense because MagSafe charging isn't quite there yet. It's too slow and the phones get too hot. Now, there are reports of a bigger battery and a 25-watt fast charger as opposed to the 20-watt maximum we get now, and that could indicate that Apple has improved the heat dissipation, which is in line with what Max Weinbach reports of a bigger coil. And if this is the case, this could mean that the iPhone 13 stays cooler when charging via MagSafe, which would be another step in the portless direction. Weinbach also says that this might mean there will be reverse wireless charging. Personally, I'm having a hard enough time keeping my iPhone juiced throughout the day, so I have zero interest depleting my iPhone's battery even faster. Needless to say, the new 25-watt charger will not be coming in the box, and you can guess who will be happy to sell it to you. What we can't see from the dummies, but something that has been talked about forever, is a 120 Hertz display. Samsung phones have had this forever, and Apple is painfully lagging behind. To be able to implement 120 Hz, Apple needs to introduce LTPO technology into their phones, and this has been rumored by Korean website The Elect to happen in at least 2 models. I'm guessing the Pro and the Pro Max. The same website also reported that Samsung has in fact started production of OLED panels for Apple. There will likely not be Touch ID, which to me is mind-boggling. Face ID is just not practical at all these days, so I don't understand why Apple refuses to bring back Touch ID. Maybe having people's face data is more valuable than fingerprints. Probably. Anyway, let's not go there. Gurman also reports that some of these models might get an always-on display mode. Expect a faster A15 chip, smaller notch, a new display, better battery life, and the potential of an Apple Watch-like always-on mode and a 120 Hz refresh rate and upgrades to video recording, Gurman said. And this new chip is of course no surprise. There aren't a lot of reports on the details, but we're expecting the A15 chip, and of course a new phone usually means a better chip, and this year should be no exception. Except of course if Uncle Tim is feeling fiendish again and slaps on an M1 chip. At this point, who knows? Wedbush have reported that the new iPhone Pro Max might offer as much as 1 TB of internal storage. On the one hand, that could make sense because the file sizes of photos and videos are getting pretty massive. But Wedbush is not the most reliable source, and they also claim that all iPhone models will get LiDAR, which I don't see happening and which also isn't reflected by the dummy models of the smaller phones. It's possible, but I wouldn't bet my eyebrows on it. Interestingly, Apple's been said to ramp up production of the new iPhones by 20% compared to last year. Debbie Wu and Mark Gurman said that Apple will produce 90 million units, up from 75 million units last year. Apparently, Apple thinks that most of the countries are coming out of lockdown, consumer spending will be up again. People that decided to skip the upgrade cycle last year might feel confident to shell out on a new iPhone 13 this year. Leaves us with a release date, which is usually the 2nd or the 3rd week of September. Historically, it's been on a Tuesday, so the 14th seems like the most logical date. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Something that has been talked about forever is a 130.